Welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the first race of round number 2 of the Darkmatter Designs Cup Series playoffs. I'm joined in the booth with Chris Speer. This is the second time we've been to Vegas this year, and last time we were here we had an exciting race. Chris, I expect we're gonna have the same kind of race that we had last time here.
Absolutely right. I believe that will be the case here tonight, Jared, as we're at Las Vegas. This track, all about position early on and about how you can get around this track. These drivers tonight, they're going to have to do a lot to be in contention for the end.
Exactly right. And as we said, this is the first race of the second round of the playoffs. So if you're just joining us for it, you missed a heck of a first round of playoffs, which basically came down to the last race at Bristol last week. But let's take a look at those championship standings, how they are coming into Vegas after the update. So we are down to 12 drivers. Those 4 drivers, Lane Allen, Jason Speer, Randy McCanny, and Jeff Winter, now eliminated from the playoffs. They're no longer in gray. 12 drivers remain. 17 points separate Troy Torgerson and Brian Helm, 1st and 12th. Chris, this is a pretty tight playoff grid, and it was tight coming in at the beginning of the round. Nobody's really separated themselves with wins except Troy Torgerson.
That's right, Jared. Troy Torgerson has really done a good job of setting himself up to be kind of a championship favorite here going in. However, don't count out the sweeper Del Nearad from last week. Bobby Terrell, who has had a great car all season long, looking to rebound after a little bit of bad luck. Look for any of those drivers to try to take the win here tonight.
And we come into Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's the first time we've raced at a 1.5 mile track, Chris, since all the way back in May at Kansas. We did race Nashville Superspeedway, not quite a mile and a half, doesn't quite race like a mile and a half. What is going through these drivers' heads, knowing that they haven't raced the track like Las Vegas in, going on 5 months from now?
Well, the lucky part about it is that it is a mile and a half, Jared. So these guys have had experience with it all season long, as far as going to different tracks that are similar, and we've already been here once this season. The track conditions aren't that much different from when we were here last time, a little bit more cloudy here tonight, but these drivers are going to rely on that experience from the past mile and a half tracks to really get things going in the right direction here tonight.
Exactly right. Take a look at our track information here tonight at Las Vegas. 67 degree air, 78 track. This track, we are going to go through a transitional period, so this is pretty much right at sunset as we are talking right now. It will go into pretty much a nighttime race by the end of it. Cloudy conditions, so that's why it doesn't look very bright on your screens at home. Very cloudy here. Las Vegas is 2,000 feet up in the air, thereabouts. And that is going to be very interesting because this is going to hinder the power that these cars put out compared to what they would put out at a track like Atlanta or even Kansas. We look at the track facts here tonight. Las Vegas opened in 1997. It's a 1.5 mile track in 2005. It was reconfigured from a flat 1.5 miler. Think Nashville, except maybe a little bit bigger. Now it's a 20-degree progressive bank turns, I should say, with a pit window tonight, Chris, of 50 to 60 laps and 134 laps total.
Jared, these drivers are looking to be able to get up here early on because that's going to be one of the 3 keys for tonight's race is track position early. You want to be able to be up front and contend for the win, then you've got to be there pretty much all night long. Second thing, as always, no mistakes. That's going to be your second key to this race. Can't have any mistakes. Now, Jared, usually with a track like Las Vegas, you end up having a green flag pit stops. That makes things all that more difficult getting into pit road. These drivers we've seen before, a few of them have had a little bit of problem getting to the pit road speed, getting onto pit road. And then the third one is going to be to avoid everything on track. That doesn't seem like as big of a deal as it might be at Bristol or Richmond or any of those smaller tracks. But still, if people get loose off the corner here, there may be a lot of room to catch it, but you got to make sure that you stay out of the way when they're trying to catch it.
Exactly right. Well, before the race started this week, or during the interview, or during the media days, one of our pit reporters, Brody Hanna, caught up with Troy Torgerson and a couple other drivers about their playoff and the rest of their season so far. Let's hear from Troy Torgerson first.
Yeah, I feel like I'm coming in with nothing to lose. Playing.
Your team's bringing some really, really fast cars to the track every week. probably feel more comfortable talking to you about this after Talladega, but anything can happen there. We got to finish that race and then finish the road course, and got to make the round of 8 before we can make the round of 4. So, like I said, the team is really, really firing on all cylinders right now. Got to keep from making any mistakes and finish the races. And we got some good tracks still yet to come for that, I feel, for me, and try to get some good finishes there, and hopefully be in the top 4 by the end of the round 8. Thanks.
Chris, that was Troy Torgerson. You may have heard that. Very confident coming into this round. He did pick up 2 victories at the first 2 rounds. Nearly swept the rounds, Chris, if you remember. Was leading at Bristol late there before he kind of faded at the end thanks to a late race caution there. But Troy Torgerson, I mean, Chris, I don't. It's so tight, but he's got to be. Since we're in Vegas, he's got to be the odds-on favorite to win this championship right now.
I would agree. The only issue that these drivers face is going to be the next 2 weeks that seem to be a little bit more uncertain. Troy Torgerson may be able to get the win here tonight in Las Vegas, but the next 2 tracks, they're kind of anyone's game that are in the playoffs.
Exactly right here. We got about a minute left until the warm-up is over, but right now tonight we have 39 drivers. Some drivers making those one-off appearances. We got Zach McDaniel, who is a normal truck series driver. He's in the race tonight. James Torrey out there joining us, so it's good to see some drivers making their way through, but still a packed house here as the season continues to wipe down. But Chris, how important is Las Vegas? Because this, in my opinion, when I was looking at the schedule, I thought the first round's pretty difficult, but the second round is a complete wild card with the Roval and Talladega coming up next.
And Jared, I believe that's why these drivers are all looking to have a good night here tonight. A lot of different teams I know have put in a little bit extra time practicing for this event in hopes that they can lock themselves into the next round. Problem is that even doing so, there's 12 total drivers that are looking to do the same thing. They're not going to make it easy on anyone here tonight. And they know just as well as everyone else does that Talladega, complete wild card. Literally anyone can win that race. It doesn't really necessarily mean you have the best car. It's just about being in the right place at the right time. We get to the Charlotte Roval, another road course. A lot of playoff drivers don't typically seem, or at least the ones that have made it to this round, don't seem to be a standout when it comes to our road course races. Brody Hanna definitely looks to be fast. A couple other drivers as well. Bobby Terrell also fast on road courses, but none of them have been showing the speed to be able to get the win just from being consistent at those road courses. Now it's going to take all of their effort to be ready for that race when we get to it in 2 weeks.
Exactly right. Well, the cars are gridding up right now, so we're going to take a look at our starting lineup here tonight for the Las Vegas 200. On the pole, Bernard Persson grabbing the pole with a lap time of 29.465. Brody Hanna alongside with Bobby Terrell and Rachel Hunt in row number 2. Row 3 will be Dale Nearad and Troy Torgerson. Row 4, Brian Helm and Darren Bruce, who has an end of the longest line penalty. And rounding out your top 10, Dean Doucette and Joe Flanagan.
Behind them in row number 6 is going to be Dale Nearad, Troy Torgerson. Behind them in row number 7, row number 6. And row number 7 will be Brian Helm and Darren Bruce. Behind them, Dean Doucette, Joe Flanagan, Richie Coy, and Mark Figueroa.
Looking back here at row number 8, James Torrey, Sure, Williford. Row number 9, Poliski and Mayu. Row 10, Vrooman and McDaniel. And then we'll cycle through the rest of these to see how you are, because we've got a little bit of a short pace lap here tonight. Wayne Grassi in 24th. Ralph Nolan, playoff driver, back in 30th. So it's going to be a tough work for him. And rounding out the back of your field, Randall Ballard and Josh Johnson.
Sorry about that, Jared. My SDK needed to reload.
That's no problem at all. And here we go. We are getting the green flag. Just wanted to double check. Pace car is off. Bernard Person, Brody Hanna will lead it down to start the Las Vegas 200 and the second round of the playoffs. Green flag is out. Let's go racing here at Vegas.
Bernard Person makes the inside lane get a little bit of an advantage. He's going to go up and try to put a little stop to Brody Hanna. He's dominantly got the lead heading into one.
Bobby Terrell underneath Brody Hanna. Hanna trying to get it done on the outside. No grip up there right now as this track completely green for the drivers out there. Terrell looking underneath Bernard Person into 3.
Tries to put his nose in there, but no room to get in under that 8 machine yet. Falls back in line. Right now, the actions for third as Brody Hanna is trying to pull alongside down here to retake that 3rd position.
Brody Hanna back further. He is working on the outside, and we talked to him. We'll have his interview in one of these other races, but he is excited about it as well. Joe Flanagan up on the high side of the track. He was up against the wall there, Chris.
That he was looking to make that outside lane a little bit, or try to come in a little bit early in this race. A little bit hard to get the run up there going, but if you can get it worked in all night, maybe fast. As now Bobby Terrell is side by side with your leader. Now he's going to lead this lap.
Terrell may not have gotten that. It was very close. As Dale Nearad would jump on board the 03 machine, and he is helping his teammate on the high side, and they're going to prevail, Chris, on the back straightaway down through here.
Dale Nearad gives a little push to the 8 to get him back out in front of Bobby Terrell. Darrell now going to have to be side by side coming out of the corner with Nearad. Looks low. Going to give the 5 a push down the front stretch.
Looking back further, Brian Helm in the thick of things, and he is a driver, Chris. They got in pretty much at the last second, and you look at him, and he is out there racing here tonight.
That he is trying to get his way up here. Hasn't made up any position. Started in 7th, currently running 7th, but still side by side with Dean Doucette trying to work his way on that bottom groove.
Everybody has pretty much separated outside the top 10. Right back there at the very tail end of that is Richie Coy in 11th. He is hanging on the back end of the lead pack, just ahead of former playoff contender Lane Allen. Richie Coy, they're sporting some new look, the number 19 Mobil 1 car. But right now, Bernard Person fought off Bobby Terrell, and he is in the lead. We got battling all through the middle of the pack, though, as Brody Hanna trying to hold off Troy Torgerson, the driver of the first round for sure.
And Dale Nearad makes an aggressive move trying to get underneath the 5 car of Bobby Terrell. He's going to take second away from him with Brody Hanna in tow.
Chris, we watched this race so far on board Dale Nearad again. How is the outside line going to start to transition as this race goes from daytime to night?
Well, Jared, as more people get up there, you put a little bit more rubber down on the track, and then it's just going to continue to move the line further and farther up in towards the wall. That's going to work out a little bit better because as these tires fall off, you'll be able to get a little bit more of a run on the outside. You can actually see that it's starting to kind of work right now as to, you can see a couple guys are making the outside work. Bobby Terrell almost got to the rear quarter panel of Dale Nearad using that outside line with Brody Hanna behind him.
Brody Hanna dropping back to 4. Torgerson in 5th. Dean Doucette on the move up 3 positions to 6. But the big mover inside the top 10, Chris, is Mark Figueroa up 5 spots. He's not a playoff driver. He's here to crash the party. And I think Vegas, they didn't roll the dice on him very heavy. Wasn't one of our favorites coming in, but he is moving up through the field.
That he is. That machine's looking very good here early on in this race. Long ways left to go, but he's certainly found something in the short run for this car.
Now, Chris, you look on the flip side of that, Rachel Hunt dropping back 5 positions. Now she's got Richie Coy on her outside going into turn 1. Looks like that car is missing numbers, unfortunately, but normally runs number 16 there for that car. But she is loose on the bottom right now.
That she is. Loose is fast, but not if you can't control it, Jared. That seems to be an issue right now for Rachel Hunt. Maybe that'll come to her advantage later on in the run if she's able to maintain that car in those tires until we get to a little bit more laps under her. These cars tend to go tight here after about 15 to 20 laps.
Joe Flanagan works his way around Rachel Hunt, move him back to the 10th position. Back behind Rachel Hunt is Casey McMullen, one of our playoff contenders. Hasn't won a Cup Series race this year, Chris, but he was leading the points for the first 16 races this year.
That he was. And I was watching him during practice, Jared, and he was putting on some very good lap times in the 10-15 lap range, not falling off quite as much as the others around him. So look for him to be there at the end. He seems to have a little bit more of a long run long run car as Rachel Hunt caught the outside wall coming out of 2.
Yeah, and that's what the exclamation was for. Rachel Hunt hanging that machine out. She is so loose right now, Chris. And is that a situation where she thought maybe the track might be a little different than what it is? Or is it just she's needing the nighttime to come in a hurry?
Well, I think that's what it is. She's planning for that nighttime for that car, and it'll come into her as it tends to get tighter as the track cools down. But right now, she's really trying to find different lines to help make that car feel a little bit more steady. She tried the bottom. Now she's up about into the 3rd groove up there, just looking for some speed and some grip for that number 16 car.
Checking back up front, Dale Nearad under pressure from Brody Hanna. That's a battle for 2nd place. Hanna looking underneath of him. He's got some help with Bobby Terrell following him through. Dean Doucette also on the bottom. And Hanna a little bit loose through turn 1, but he's going to pull alongside Nearad down the backstretch.
And Jared, you can see that when Brody Hanna did that, a lot of drivers back behind him looked to take different lines, almost made it too wide for 3 rows back there, just because everyone wanted to figure out who they were going with and figure out how they were going to get the track position. Now Brody Hanna easily going to get in front of the 03 as he got loose coming out of 4.
Wow, and he does a good job. Now Brody Hanna, he is looking to get the broom out. So if you guys watch Full Throttle TV, you'll see that he won on Wednesday night in the Truck Series for Full Throttle Sim Racing. Thursday night, he won the Xfinity Series race. And tonight, if he can do it, he will pull out the sweep. And that is a big accomplishment. Behind him, everybody jockeying for position. Behind Dale Nearad, Bobby Terrell looking low. Troy Torgerson looking toward the pit lane. He was so loose.
And Troy Torgerson is able to pull alongside the 5 machine. 5 machine got wicked tight coming out of the corner already. Now we have a battle for the lead as Hanna looked underneath Person.
On board Bernard Person. He's trying to make it happen on the outside. The outside's been so good. Looking at Brody Hanna, he can't quite get there. He's got a little bit of a side drive going into turn 3, though.
Right behind them. Troy Torgerson's caught up in it. Dean Doucette got a little piece. That's going to bring out our first caution of the night on lap 14.
Wayne Grassi down low as well. May have gotten a piece of it as well. We got several drivers involved still. Back here deep, Steve Loomis looks like he might have gotten a piece. Kenneth Schultz maybe as well. We got Adam Newton up the track. Josh Mayu, maybe a little contact there as well. So let's take a look. Joe Flanagan caught up as well. So we got a big one. And let's see where to start this thing out at, Chris, because it was a doozy. So here we go. Troy Torgerson, he's on the bottom of Bobby Terrell. We just left this battle. And Dean Doucette goes on the inside. So they're 3 wide. Brian Helm, Torgerson's in the middle. And it looks like we'll have to get a better replay, but it looks like contact between the 98 and the 29. Flanagan nowhere to go. Steven Vrooman nowhere to go. Poliski, and then the rest of the field, I don't know what to say about that, but I guess goes piling in, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looked like everyone started to go to that low line down there, Jared. And unfortunately, the cars just washed down the track there as they were coming to a stop. A lot of guys just didn't have anywhere to go.
That is a massive wreck. And let's take a look. I think the first one we're going to look at here is Dean Doucette in the 29 machine and see what he saw out the front of the car, because that's a tough position to be in if you're the 29 machine when you maybe don't know you're 3 wide there. So on board Dean Doucette. Looking out of the roof camera. So here you go. He's right on the quarter panel. And yeah, tough decision. I think Troy definitely moved down a little bit, but I don't think he realized he was 3 wide with Brian Helm on the outside.
Yeah, definitely a tough break there for Troy Torgerson. And I don't think it was either one of those drivers' fault. Really, it was just Torgerson trying to get his line around there. Maybe he didn't quite know that Dean Doucette was there. Spotter just a little bit off.
On board Joe Flanagan through it. He's behind Richie Coy, and you can see he doesn't see anything going on. He's got Richie Coy right in front of him. He sees a little smoke, hits the brakes, and that's where Troy Torgerson went to. Vrooman also right into him, and then we got several drivers coming in late into this wreck toward the back of the pack, Chris, and that's a tough break. Several good drivers already out of the race, and because that was in the top 5.
Absolutely. And Jared, we've got a little bit of a strategy move here as Rachel Hunt in that 51 machine has actually stayed out on the track alongside Josh Johnson and the 05 on your screen, actually, for the right number this week. So those two drivers stayed out for this caution. That's going to be interesting because everyone else behind them at least pit for fuel or tires.
Yeah, just watching that wreck again, and the whole track was blocked. TJ Bartel, grade A job getting through that wreck. Chuck Sweeting, unfortunately, caught up in it. Steve Loomis, I think he made it through as well, so good job for him. Matt Geringer made it through. I mean, there were some drivers back there that were on the brakes pretty hard, Chris. But all in all, several drivers caught up in it, and we are about ready to get this thing restarted here, 17 laps in.
And Jared, the good news for Troy Torgerson is that if he's able to repair that machine and get out there, he can still make up a lot of positions, because a lot of other drivers were also caught up in that. 1-2 laps even would jump him about 3 to 4 positions on track.
So there you see it. It is Rachel Hunt and Josh Johnson, the 650, the 16 and the 05, that are out there. They did not pit, so everybody behind them on fresher tires. And pace car pulling off. We're about ready to get this thing restarted. 17 laps down here at Vegas. And green flag is back out.
Rachel Hunt gets a good jump on that inside line with Bernard Person behind her. She's going to clear Josh Johnson on the outside. Now Brody Hanna switching lanes to go to the inside as well, as he's looking to get around Josh and now bring with him the 5 as well. But now Dale Nerad's kind of caught behind the 05. He ducks down. No one wants to be behind that 05.
Rachel Hunt got a bump draft from Bernard Person. Brody Hanna giving Bernard Person a bump draft down the back straightaway. Here they come through 3 and 4. Person and Hanna will clear Rachel Hunt. 3 wide behind him. Squeezing. Terrell and near-eye contact. Williford goes around behind him. And we are back under yellow.
Short-lived green run right there. Luckiest car on the track, though, is going to have to be the 5 of Bobby Terrell, as he went flying through the infield there and was able to still get back on track without losing too many spots. Otherwise, he might have ran into a bunch of other drivers coming back up the track, Jared.
All right, Rob, looking at Williford. He is deep in the field. This is a very, very deep field here, and looks like maybe some contact with the 90 machine gets him loose, turned around there just a little bit. That is a single car wreck as far as I can tell here. And I also want to, while we have an opportunity, Chris, is to take a look what happened between Dale Nerad and Bobby Terrell, because that was intense as well. So here they come. Let's go to our drone cam. You see Bobby Terrell there, and Dale Nerad just got a good run. Rachel Hunt just slowing, and Terrell just that I don't think they realized again, Chris. They didn't know they were 3 wide. Terrell very, very lucky there. I don't know what else Bobby could have done there. Because he was taking his line, but Dale Nerad, I mean, he's also got the car in front of him. Very tough situation, but unfortunately, Bobby Terrell, the driver that comes out on the bottom side of it.
Comes out on the bottom side, Jared, but at least he's able to not have too much damage to that 5 machine. Actually, looks like he got a little bit loose coming out of the corner and went up the track into Nerad, but able to get back on the track without too much damage. And a big break by Richie Coy, because the caution came out there. He ended up slowing down pretty heavily. And otherwise, he and the 5 might have gotten collected as well, as the 5 was trying to get back on track.
And Chris, you saw what happened with those drivers on older tires. Don't think the wreck was caused or issues were caused because of that, except maybe between Dale Nerad and Bobby Terrell. But Las Vegas, it's a 1.5 miler, and we always see these type of strategies come through. I was a little bit surprised to see Rachel Hunt stay out. What could have been the strategy call there, Chris, this early in the race, to not maybe just have a set of tires laying around? I mean, surely she's going to have to come to pit road at this point now.
Yes, she went ahead and hopped down to pit road as well to get her fresh tires. Jared, I think she was just looking to get that bonus point for leading the lap, just that important to her to get it over with early, just to get it out of the way. And now she doesn't have to worry about trying to get up there and get that bonus point again.
Joe Flanagan was released from the infield care center. Just said it was disappointing to get caught up in that wreck so early in the race. He had a hot rod. So Joe Flanagan out, but treated and released from the infield care center. Other drivers out of the race right now: Stephen Vroom and Andrew Poliski, Flanagan, Gil Gock, Chuck Sweeting also out. Ken Schultz is out. Actually, Ken Schultz on pit road still getting repairs done. Josh Mayu, John Held, all still in the race. Troy Torgerson, though, Chris, 31st position, last of all of our playoff contenders. Dean Doucette not too far ahead of him, though.
Yeah, both of those two drivers took the opportunity that we have here under caution to go in and fix the damage to their race cars. Dean Doucette didn't have near as much as Torgerson. Torgerson have a lengthy pit stop right now to get that thing back going, looking to just try to collect as many positions as he can on the rest of the night.
Now, Chris, we have to talk about it. The playoffs ratchet up the intensity. That first accident, was that a product of the playoffs? Was it a product of the 1.5 milers? Or is it the product of maybe just guys done giving and taking at this point in the year with 6 races to go?
I think it's a little bit of all of the above, Jared. These drivers are all looking to get up here and do whatever they can to possibly get the position early on in the race. They know how critical it can be, especially if we go green flag racing here tonight. You don't want to be caught up behind all of the leaders and lose the draft here. It's a 1.5 mile track, but the draft seems to be that much important here on this speedway. And really, no one wants to get left out. And so the easiest way to do that is to make your way towards the front as quickly as possible. And that's what both of those two drivers are doing. Torgerson not wanting to give up the position, and Dean Doucette really just trying to take it away so that he can go ahead and move his way up towards that top 5.
And keep in mind as well, viewers at home, 17 points separate first place Troy Torgerson coming into this race, and 12th place Brian Helm, who was the last driver to make it through, or last driver in the resetted points. 17 points is not very much when you have 39 drivers out here, and that could easily flip the script and put Troy Torgerson on the outside looking in, heading into Talladega and the Roval. So we'll have to keep an eye on that situation. Lining up again, Bernard Person electing to take the inside line. He'll have Brody Hanna, Bobby Terrell, Dale Nearad, Brian Helm, Richie Coy, Figueroa, Johnson, McDaniel poking his nose into the top 10, and McMullen also there as well, Chris, as we are about ready to get the Vegas race started again.
It'll be interesting to see if Brody Hanna is able to make that outside line work on the restart. Hasn't worked out so far tonight, but now he's going to have the opportunity as the pace car heads down pit road, about to go green here.
And green flag back out here at Vegas, and a fairly even start between the front row. We don't see that often. Brody Hanna doing a good job on the outside. Nearad did not get a good restart behind him, though.
And that's going to make the 23 fall to the clutches of the 5 machine. You really got to have a little bit of help here on restarts. Even though Brody Hanna got a good run on that restart, no help means he's going to fall back here now battling for 4th position.
Hanna still on the outside. Nearad, Richie Coy, Lane Allen up on the high side by themselves. We look a little bit further back. McDaniel gets around Josh Johnson, move him up to 8th place. Mike Watts on the inside. And now Brian Helm making a power move down the front straightaway. Figueroa pushing him through.
Brian Helm using all of the track here, including the apron. Got that car a little upset as he came back onto the main racing surface here, keeping him dead even with Brody Hanna. Hanna's going to have the run on the outside there. But Brian Helm looking to get the momentum going into the corner. Nope, Brody Hanna clears him going into 3.
Nearad looking on the outside of his teammate there. Helm is going to poke in line, but what a job by Mark Figueroa. He has brought a piece tonight in that 0-4. He's got nothing to lose. He is out there for W's. And, to build on next year, the top 35 announced earlier this week or last week, the top 35 are the drivers that are eligible to make it without racing their way in starting next season. So there's a lot on the line for those drivers that are in and around the top 35 heading into next season. Mark Figueroa, one of those. Battle for 3rd place. Terrell losing, gets a little bit loose, and now Brian Helm is going to get underneath of him, Chris.
Brian Helm looked to be trying to play the slide job coming out of the corner there. Just wasn't quite clear at the moment. Kind of forced his way clear as Bobby Terrell got a little bit loose coming out of the corner. But Brody Hanna is showing some signs of aggressive moves here. He's trying to get up here to take this lead away from Bernard Person in the 8 machine. He was able to get 2 cars in 1 lap, getting around Helm and the 5 machine. Now he's got his eyes set on the number 8.
Troy Torgerson on pit road. That car not handling or maybe overheating, so he is back on pit road again. So the 98 machine having a rough start after such a dominant first round, not having a second round to remember to start off with. Battle for the lead, and Bernard Person covers it off.
All about clean air here at Las Vegas. As long as Bernard Person's able to do it, he'll be able to hang on to the lead. But it is definitely dicey up here for the lead.
Let's look out the back of Bernard Person. Here comes Brody Hanna on the inside. What a gutsy move by Brody Hanna into turn one, side by side. Helm moves to the outside, trying to help his teammate around Brody Hanna keep that lead. Helm makes the move on the outside. Brody Hanna losing that momentum down the back straightaway. He's going to pull even with Brian Helm. Bernard Person very thankful right now because Hanna had a great run behind him. Richie Coy gets Bobby Terrell a little loose, shoots him up the track.
And catching back up with Troy Torgerson, he definitely was starting to overheat in that car, and that's why he decided to come back down pit road. That car was definitely not going to make it around the track too many more times.
Battle for the lead again into turn three. Thanks for the update, Chris. Brody Hanna making a big move. I think he's got a little bit more speed here in the early run of the race, but he just can't get the move on Bernard Person. Give you an update on where Troy Torgerson's running 33rd, Rachel Hunt in 28th, Dean Doucette in 27th. So three drivers that came in well within the top 10 or the top 8 even coming into this race, not having a night to remember here at Las Vegas. And Brody Hanna trying to get a move on Bernard Person down the back straightaway. Can't quite get there.
Can't quite get there and needs a little bit of help from someone behind him, hoping that Brian Helm in the 26 will get up there behind him, kind of give him a little bit of help getting around this 8 machine. But right now, it's all Bernard Person at the front.
Looking out the back of that number 8 Spear Motorsports Toyota. And you see, Chris, down the back straightaway, Brody Hanna able to really get this huge run on him, but just can't go anywhere with it.
No, he can't, and that's because these two drivers, as they're trying to find different lanes to get around here so that they're getting the clean air, just cannot get away from one another. Brody Hanna has to go to the middle lane coming out of the corner. He loses a little bit of momentum there. Then he'll make it up going down the straightaway as he catches the draft of the 8 machine. But still, once he gets to the corner, still nowhere to go as he'll have to look again to the middle line. And Bernard Person is smart about this. He knows that's what Brody Hanna has to do. So he enters the corner up in that middle lane, trying to give the dirty air to Brody Hanna, kind of make him second guess where he needs to go.
Looking back a little bit further, Brian Helm still in 3rd, Terrell in 4th place, Nearad 5th. But Chris, you look back at 6th place, it's Randy McCanny. He started back in 28th position in the 27 machine, eliminated from the playoffs after a kind of a rough first round. He has put himself up into the top 5 as he looks underneath Nearad for 5th.
Definitely a strong showing out of that 27 machine, trying to get up here and earn those bragging rights after a disappointing round 1 in the playoffs here. And now he's going up here, that frontline esports driver, looking to show that they've got the speed, even though both of their drivers, or at least last week, did not have a good showing.
And you look on board Randy McCanny. I was talking to Randy before the race, and he said that sun out of turn 4 is just unbelievable. So I don't know if you caught it that time around, but that sun, and iRacing has kind of changed the graphical presets. You can't get rid of the sun now very easily. And it is very bright off turn 4, Chris.
That it is kind of like a real world simulation here, something like that, Jared, as these drivers are going to have to fight with the sun for just a couple more laps here for about maybe 30 more minutes. By the time we get to lap 100, that'll be completely out of the way, and these drivers won't have to worry about it. Randy McCanny now looks like he's going to fall into the clutches of the 04 machine. That machine is very fast, and don't look now, Zach McDaniel in that 42, he's also going towards the front.
Yeah, we were on board Zach McDaniel through that corner, and he is really flying up here. The Truck Series, multi-time Truck Series winner, runs part-time in the Cup Series and always has a good showing when he comes out and runs some races. And, man, Zach is doing a great job here in the 42 machine. Kind of a single-car operation, Chris, and he is moving his way inside the top 10. Battle with Dale Nearad and Mark Figueroa.
And Figueroa trying to make that outside lane work here as Zach McDaniel's under him. Just not able to go through the corner as quickly as he would like to. And a little bit of that is because of Dale Nearad. I believe Nearad's a little bit slower than Figueroa, so Figueroa has to get out of it coming out of the corner here. Up ahead, though, you've got the 19 of Richie Coy looking underneath the 5 of Bobby Terrell. He easily takes the spot. Randy McCanny going to look to try to follow suit, but not able to do so coming out of the corner.
Richie Coy on the move, up 7 positions. I wanted to drift a little bit further back. Casey Mullen, one of our playoff contenders, he is in 11th place there, just on the fringes of where we were talking about. 2 drivers that had unfortunate first rounds that are having strong nights. Lane Allen and Jason Speer back there in 12th and 13th. TJ Bartell, he avoided that wreck, Chris, and he has got himself to 14th. Bill Benedict having a solid night in 15th, and another playoff contender, 2 of them, Wayne Grossi and Ralph Nolan, having ho-hum nights, but some other drivers having terrible nights. This might play into their hands.
That it will. You talk about it. Dean Doucette, Rachel Hunt, and Troy Torgerson kind of having not the nights they were hoping for. Dean Doucette and Rachel Hunt, 25th, 26th right now, but those 2 drivers, they really don't seem to have that much speed as they're just hanging out, and they've pretty much got their own little pack going here with Kevin Rupert in the one with them.
Kevin Rupert back here in 27th position. Dean Doucette and Rachel Hunt right ahead of him. And Rachel Hunt and Dean Doucette, they need a caution. At this point in time, these guys, let's take a look at our track map here. Dean Doucette at the line right now, so there they go. That 25, 26, and 27 you see on your screen. Their leaders are right now at the middle of the back straightaway. So that is kind of how far back these 2 playoff drivers are.
And that could be a strategy move by these 2. They've already had a little bit of cause for concern early on in this race, and maybe they're hoping that they'll make it to the end, have a quick caution, and get up there and be able to make some positions up then. But right now, that's not the case, as these 2 just follow each other around the track back here in 25th and 26th.
Well, as we were talking, Brody Hanna able to get around Bernard Person. Let's take a look and see how that happened. So here he is, Brody Hanna, right on the back bumper of Bernard Person. Gets a great run off turn 4. I mean, he was really on the back bumper of Bernard Person, giving him no quarter there at all. Gets a great run on the outside, Chris, and that's how he got it done. Passed him on the outside in turn 1 and 2.
That he did, Jared. And as soon as he got around him, he started to open up a gap on this 8 machine and the rest of the field. That number 23 has got something figured out.
Randy McCanny went off track, Chris. Holy cow. He's still driving that bucking Bronco on the bottom of the track. Finally gets under control, but he's lost a ton of time. And we're going to have to take a look and see what happened to the 27 machine as they are contacting behind him.
And Brian Helm also involved in that as well. I believe that those 2 got together, and that's what sent Randy McCanny down through the infield there. That's going to be a rough thing to battle back from.
There he is. Oh, and Brian Helm, I don't think he thought Brandon McCanny was that close. Nearly both of them wrecked. Unbelievable car control. I know neither of them wanted that to happen, but that could have been a big wreck. It wasn't. What a job by both those drivers, especially McCanny, who was still holding on to that machine a lap later.
Definitely did a little bit of drifting through the corner there to get that thing corrected and going the right way. Never really turned around, but definitely sliding every which way. And unfortunate for him, it looks like he may have actually gotten caught with a penalty.
May have cut. I was wondering, Chris, if he did cut down through that pit road on exit there, but we'll have to check in on that. But Mark Figueroa, can't say enough about the driver of the 04 car. He has moved his non-playoff driving car up into 4th position, his highest running position of the year, Chris. How much of a confidence booster is it knowing, hey, I came into the season late. I had no chance to make the playoffs at all, even with a win. Here I am. I'm going to show myself here, and next year I'm going to be a force.
Well, it's certainly a good thing to show that you've got the speed and that you belong in this Cup Series with these drivers. All of these drivers are incredible drivers, Jared, for sure. And so you want to be able to get up here and show that you've got speed, and now he's doing it here tonight.
Mark Figueroa up 8 positions. Let's take a look at our big gainers. It was Randy McCanny. It's now Zach McDaniels. He works on the outside of Casey Mullen, moving up into 7th place. The purple number 42 on the move. He's up 12 positions. Mike Watts right behind him, also up 12 positions. Again, 2 drivers not in the playoffs having great runs here, Chris.
And we talk about it all the time. These non-playoff drivers getting up here and spoiling the party. Well, you just mentioned it. Zach McDaniel trying to do that here tonight as he's working his way ever so closely into the top 5.
Zach McDaniels qualified back in 20th position. Mike Watts back in 21st. Known for his road racing, but he has really come along on the ovals. And there's some deep battling going on back here. Brian Helm, because of that contact with Randy McCanny, dropped all the way back to 11th. He's got TJ Bartell on his inside, along with Bill Benedict, and they are nearly 3 wide through turn 1. Sure, Williford's there. Brian Helm, Jason Speer, and Ralph Nolan, Wayne Grossi, all in this group.
And looking at that Brian Helm machine, he does have a little bit of damage onto the left side of that car. That could be making the handling of this car all that more tight, as he seems to not be able to, almost a wreck behind him with the 90 and the 88 as they almost touch coming off to the corner. But Brian Helm really struggling here to really regain some of that pace he had before that contact.
Ralph Nolan at the tail end of this field, and he saw, his eyes probably were the size of $50 when he saw the 90 and the 88 get that close, and my goodness. Chris, you talked about that damage. Kind of talk us through how much that affects a driver when you have a little damage, and you probably doesn't even know he has that damage, but how much is that affecting that handling on that vehicle right now?
Well, on his vehicle, most of his damage is at the front bumper, and then also right behind that left rear tire that is kind of bent in a little bit there. It's kind of changing the way the air flows around that back spoiler area and the back bumper there. So it's probably making him feel all that more tight than he really is, just because it's pushing his car farther up the track each time. But not only that, the thing that's probably hurting him the most at this point in the race, he slid those tires pretty significantly. Is it wrecking? Mike Watts around. Casey McMullen caught up in it as well. He'll go around.
Mike Watts around. We were on that wreck as it happened. Casey Mullen might have gotten caught up as well. He has got both those cars all. I don't think I see too much damage, if any, on those vehicles, but this is not what either of these drivers wanted inside the top 15. Oh, McMullen's torn up on the rear end, actually. Let's take a replay at this.
Another car that caught up in it was Lane Allen. He got a little bit of contact as well, but I believe he got the least amount of damage out of those cars, and it looked like the number 3 machine just got a little bit loose coming out of the corner into Casey McMullen. Casey McMullen was on for a ride from that moment on.
Ralph Nolan did a great job holding on and avoiding that wreck. I don't know how he did it. Chris, I wanted to take another look at this because this could have been some notorious netcode that played a factor in this just as well. Now, I think there could have been contact regardless, but I think that this is not as close as we think. Oh no, there was a little netcode, but not as bad as I thought. And the secondary hit, McMullen, a significant amount of damage. Lane Allen came through there. Watts kind of bounced into Lane Allen, and that bounced him back into McMullen. That second hit, significant damage on the 71 on the rear.
Definitely going to make his night here more difficult going forward, as he's going to have to be in the pits getting that damage repaired. But that's just another playoff driver not having the night they were looking for.
One more look at this from on board the Employer-nomics number 95 of Ralph Nolan. You'll see Adam Newton heading on pit road with a blown engine. There's some smoke there. There's the contact, and he is going to get a wide open look at this. And look at Casey Mullen. Oh my goodness. What a job by Ralph Nolan to get through that wreck. As we have drivers on pit road, Chris.
And Jared, it looks like pretty much the entire field electing to come down to pits here and get fresh tires. Only person that stayed out, Casey McMullen, weirdly enough, looks like he's going to be the leader at the moment, trying to get probably that one bonus point for leading a lap. Then he'll probably come down to try to repair that car.
I like that move by Casey Mullen. He's got damage. He knows it's going to be a while in the pits. Stay out, get that bonus point, because that might end up being the difference when it comes down to at the end of the Roval here in 2 weeks. But I love that call. On pit road, Brody Hanna and his teammate Richie Coy win the race off. Bernard Person actually going to drop to third. Wasn't able to beat Richie Coy off. So Richie Coy making up time on pit road.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
So the playoff contenders really having a rough go of it here in Las Vegas. If you had to place the odds, I think you would say that if you were a playoff driver, it's probably not your night so far tonight. But the rest of those contenders, Nearad, Terrell, Person, Coy, and Hannah, yet so far, and Ralph Nolan, don't want to exclude him, those guys have yet to have any issues yet in this race.
Yet this race, Jared, but it is only on lap 52 here. These drivers have a lot of racing left to go here tonight in Las Vegas. Anything can happen, and a lot of different drivers here may be in for a not-so-pleasant surprise.
Casey Mullen looks like he is waiting for something at the entrance to pit road. So not sure if there's some kind of hang-up with a driver he is waiting on, unfortunately. But Casey Mullen, this is costing him tons of time on pit road. Let's take a look at our chase contenders, where they're at. Troy Torgerson is out of the race at this point. It does look like, Chris. That car retired from the event. He's going to finish back in 33rd position. That is not what he needed going into the Talladega and the Roval. Casey Mullen now shown in 30th, 29th position right now. But this caution did benefit Rachel Hunt and Dean Doucette and Randy McCanny. All have had some excursions over the last handful of laps here, and you put those drivers back inside the top 20.
Not exactly the way that they want to be able to get up here. They want to be up here and be competitive, Jared, but they'll take the position any way they can get them at this point.
Exactly right. It has been a heck of a race so far tonight. And let's see if we can grab Ralph Nolan Jr. We always like to talk to Ralph. Ralph Nolan Jr., it's the Chris and Jared up in the booth. You got a copy on us?
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Ralph, I wanted to grab you before we go back to green. Man, you had an eyeful in that last wreck, but otherwise, how's your race been going?
I've had an eyeful of about 3 wrecks so far. I actually thought I got clipped in one, the second caution, I think. Thought I got a piece of it. It gave me a 4X, but apparently there was no damage. So far we're doing all right. We're just kind of trying to take it easy and just trying to survive right now. I think we got a decent car on that run. We were doing all right. Just couldn't get by anybody. So it's tough racing. It's a tough track. And as the night goes on, it's going to get a little cooler and maybe tighten up a little bit. But when you get a little further on, it gets loose.
Well, Ralph, thank you so much for joining us up here in the booth. We'll let you get back out there in that Employeronomics number 95 and see if you can go get him.
All right, man. Appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
Thanks, Ralph. Chris, that was Ralph Nolan Jr. And he had an eyeful as we were about ready to go back to green. Get this thing restarted. 53 laps in the books.
53 laps in the books, but still a lot of racing here left in this race here at Las Vegas as we get back to green flag racing.
Pace car will drop off here, and that is going to be Brody Hanna and Richie Coy, the two teammates, leading off on the front row. Good run for both those drivers so far. Figueroa tries to jump, but he gets in the back of Richie Coy, and we're back to green.
We've talked about it before. You have to have a little bit of help on these restarts here. Now, Brody Hanna getting a good push from Bernard Persson behind him.
Is that a push, Chris, or is that a I need you out of my way so I can get back to the lead?
Well, it may be, but Brody Hanna was a little bit faster than Persson on that last run. Now Persson looking to go to the outside here of Hanna, not able to make it work, not enough help. Now he's going to tuck back in line, just follow Hanna around. Hanna gets wicked loose coming out of the corner.
Hanna and Coy got loose. Where's Zach McDaniel going to go? Right through the middle. What a move by the 42 machinist. He is looking for third place.
And you can tell that Brody Hanna was doing everything he possibly could. As now Zach McDaniel in front of him is getting loose.
And the track is changing right now, Chris. And these guys, I wonder if some of these drivers not catch up with the adjustments. 3 wide again. McDaniel in the sandwich.
Corner, McDaniel in the middle. Lane Allen below him. Brian Helm in the 26 up above him. Man, that is some tight racing coming out of the corner there.
TJ Bartell there. Wayne Grassi, another playoff contender. Sure, Williford, all back here. And Zach McDaniel went from 3rd to 12th in about 2 corners, Chris.
That he did. And, man, what an incredible moment. Kudos to Brody Hanna, though. He saves that car. He's going to fall back in line here. He's only in 6th, now working around the 5 machine to get back up to 5th. But, wow, what an incredible moment for him. But that also shows you just how much momentum here matters as he fell back pretty quickly. If he's going to get back up here and get to the lead, he's got a lot of fast drivers to get around.
Dale Nearad, Bernard Persson, they are up front. The 2 Speer Motorsports drivers doing a great job. Dale Nearad grabbing that win at Bristol last week, his 3rd on the year after about a 5-month drought. Bernard Persson, only 1 win. The defending champion, Chris, 1 win, and it came at a road course. His first ever road course win of his career at Road America, and he's getting it done. Coy getting pushed by Brody Hanna around Mark Figueroa on the outside. My goodness, we got all kinds of racing going on.
Richie Coy definitely had a complete mirrorful of the 23 as he pushed him going into 1, giving him the advantage there over the 04 of Mark Figueroa. Now Hanna looking to do the same.
Hannah and Coy will clear Mark Figueroa. That's going to put Mark Figueroa alongside Bobby Terrell. Look behind him, Bill Benedict in that Dayglow number 90. Ralph Nolan Jr., who we just talked to in the break, up to 8th place. He has been avoiding the wrecks, and he has done a good job of that, Chris. Sometimes that's all you need to get through these rounds, is just avoid the carnage.
Absolutely, especially here tonight as this race goes on. We've already seen a handful of cautions here that collected numerous drivers. Now you just want to keep clean, as the top 4 have kind of broken away from Bobby Terrell in that 5th position.
Top 4 broken away. Now Figueroa loose on the bottom. Zach McDaniel's going to look on the outside. TJ Bartel hung up behind him. Brian Helm's going to sneak his way on the outside as well. Oh, Brian Helm scrapes the wall, but the 26 still moving forward.
And in front of them, up at the lead pack there, Bernard Person got a little bit of loose coming out of 2, was able to gather it back up, but it brought all 4 of those drivers all the way to his bumper. Dale Nearad had to decide real quick where he was going to go, elected to stay behind his teammate there. Now Richie Coy looking to his outside with a little bit of help from Brody Hanna.
Nearad trying to cover off Richie Coy, trying to protect his teammate from the 2 Freary Motorsports drivers behind him, looking out the back of the 8 machine. And Dale Nearad doing a good job as a teammate. I think that if I was Bernard Person, I would be very happy with how Dale Nearad is helping him stay in the lead right now. Coy gets a good run through 3.
And he'll be willing to stay right there up until lap 133 here tonight. But he's not going to stay behind him on that last lap. He'll do whatever he can to get the victory to ensure he's going to move on. It looks like Richie Coy is having a little bit of connection issues as he disappears for a moment in front of Brody Hanna. That's a scary moment if you're that 23 car.
Sure is, but don't look now. The top 4 might have broken away. Bobby Terrell has chased him back down, and so has Bill Benedict. Zach McDaniel got through the gaggle. He is making his way back toward the front. TJ Bartel, Ralph Nolan Jr., Brian Helm, your top 10. Brian Helm back at the next battle, battling with Figueroa, Lane Allen, Shore Williford, Jason Speer, and chase driver Wayne Grossi, and former chase driver Randy McCanny also in this group.
Kudos to Randy McCanny on working his way back up into that 16th position. Not exactly where he wants to be, but even still in 16th, he's made up 12 positions on his qualifying effort.
Brody Hanna is going to look underneath his teammate Richie Coy for 3rd place. Looks like Richie Coy is going to let him go. No surprise there. So now Hanna back to 3rd place. What can he do now that we basically have Spear versus Fury Motorsports here and a couple of stragglers, Bobby Terrell and Bill Benedict? What is the strategy? What can Brody Hanna do to get back out front? And do you start thinking about pit stops? We think they can make 60 laps, so they basically have to make one stop. We know that for sure.
They have to make one stop, and that's only assuming that we go green the rest of the way here, which is going to be definitely hard to do as these tires run in. Brody Hanna has been a factor here all night so far. Don't think he's been back farther than 7th all night unless it was based on where he pit and how he came out. But he's making a charge up here. He's kind of running a little bit higher groove than Del Nearad, trying to work his way up into that 2nd position. He can get right up to the back of Nearad, but he doesn't seem that he can get around at the moment.
Now, is that because Nearad is doing some defensive driving? I notice he's kind of backing Brody Hanna down in the corners and kind of preventing him from getting the run off the corner.
He's certainly trying to. I think one issue that Brody Hanna is having to deal with is that he's running this car completely hard. You can see it as he dives below Nearad here, going through the corner here, trying to get the momentum out of the corner. That just shows how fast this 23 is. He's making every groove on this track here work for him at the moment, Jared.
Looking out the back of Bernard Person at the battle for 2nd place. Hanna gets a little bit loose underneath Nearad. He's going to cost some time. Richie Coy up into the wall.
Richie Coy gets up in the wall. Now Bobby Terrell looking to go underneath of Brody Hanna in the 23 car. He's got Bill Benedict in the 90 right behind him. Bill Benedict now going up the track, almost collecting Richie Coy, gathers it back up. Now you got all that momentum lost. These drivers need to get back in line if they have a chance of getting past Nearad in person. What
a job by Brody Hanna to hold on to that car. Unfortunately, I believe Richie Coy, kind of the victim there, got in the wall trying to avoid that wreck. Zach McDaniel back up in here. He is in 6th position. And don't look now. TJ Bartel in the 88, Ralph Nolan in the 95, and Figueroa. They have gotten single file back here, and they are gaining on our top pack. Do we have a big pack coming up here pretty soon, Chris?
It looks like there's clear sailing in front of your leader, but what's interesting most about this is that how many people that are in the top 10 that are not playoff drivers here tonight. We've got Person, Nearad, Hannah, Terrell, Coy that are playoff drivers, and then the next 5 behind them definitely are not. They're not in the playoffs. They're looking to spoil the victory here for these drivers. Now Hannah's caught back up to Nearad, looking to go on the inside again. Thinks better of it, gets in line, trying to beat him off the corner after he doesn't get loose.
Yeah, 5 of the next 6 drivers behind the top 5 are not playoff drivers. Ralph Nolan back there in 9th is a playoff driver. Here comes Brody Hanna looking underneath in turn 3. He's going to make the move, trying to get around Nearad. Bobby Terrell is going to work with Hanna. No, he's actually going to stay right in the middle, and Hanna right on the quarter panel of Dale Nearad.
Hannah's having a little bit of trouble getting through the corner, getting off the corner. He gets a little bit tight in the middle and off the exit here, and that gives Dale Nearad the opportunity to get the run. Now, Bobby Terrell is going to try to make the run on the low side. Thinks better of it, gets back in behind Brody Hanna. But this is interesting that Brody Hanna may not have the car he had earlier in this race, looking to do an aggressive slide move right into Nearad. Able to do it. Nearad cut him a break there, I believe.
Dale Nearad will live to fight another day, but Brody Hanna is going for it. Chris, I look at this, not a lot of love lost. We've seen the 23 and the 5 have some incidents this year. We've seen the 23 and the 8 have some incidents this year. I'm sure that the memory bank is still there, but I don't know if it's fresh in the minds. But does that change how you approach how you race some of these guys on the track, knowing you've kind of maybe had some incidents here and there with them?
Oh, I'm sure that's all in the past and completely forgotten about here tonight. As these drivers are racing for the playoffs here, everything's on the line. I would assume that these drivers are going to do everything they can to get to that last couple of laps before they're willing to do anything rash like that, Jared. But Brody Hanna now searching for grip on that middle to outside groove, getting off the corner, gets him a really good run on the straightaways. Unfortunately, just not able to do anything with it. We've seen this time and time again out of the 23. Able to get there, not able to pass.
We've had so much action up front. We do want to let you guys know where some of our playoff drivers are running. Troy Torgerson came in as the point leader tonight. He got wrecked, involved in a wreck early in the race, lap 17. And he is retired from the race in 33rd position. Casey Mullen involved in our most recent caution around lap 50, and he is back in 30th position. That car very much damaged, as Brody Hanna is going to look on Bernard Person in 3.
Big wreck behind him. The 06 gets involved. Like numerous drivers, we're definitely going to end up with a caution here.
Still green. It's still green. Hanna is the leader right now at this point in time. Still green. Yellow's out. I don't know who it is at the line.
74, 4, and 06 are all involved in this one, Jared. Those cars completely destroyed on the backstretch.
Well, let's take a look and see what happened there. Oh, we were a little bit late on that one. That's very rare. So it looks like there's kind of 2 accidents that happened. Let's look back up to this incident here. So here's Tony Solari on the high side. Chad Lang, I should say. There he is on the bottom. Oh, he gets loose and he comes up into Darren Bruce. Randall Ballard involved, Tony Solari involved. I think the caution came out when Chad Lang spun back onto the track and couldn't get it going there. So I think that's what brought out the caution because that should have been a caution before that, but some of these tracks are a little bit weird. Chad Lang having a nice night inside the top 20. It's over.
Good news, though, for Rachel Hunt. She was directly behind those 3 drivers, was able to get through there without any contact, but definitely a scary moment for her as she had to go through those cars sliding on track.
We see the 74. Not too bad damage, but definitely the hood is bent up on the number 74 Menards Ford for Fury Motorsports. So, Chris, with the where that caution came out, Brody Hanna, your race leader here. What's he do here? Coming to pit road, it does look like it.
Yeah, definitely the smart move here is to come down and pit at this point, Jared. Once we go back green here, these drivers don't necessarily have to pit anymore for fuel if they can save just a little bit. So this may be the last stop for some of these guys coming down pit road now.
Now keep in mind, they do have 5 sets of tires, 4 in the pits. 1 that they started the race on. They've used 2, going on 3. So we are down to 1 set of tires remaining in this race, Chris. Is that going to play in the factor as this race moves on?
It certainly will for a couple of these drivers looking out on track, Casey McMullen once again is going to stay out on track here, just attempting to get another lap led here, I believe, before he'll come down and get service to the 71 machine. It's now all about strategy here at this race. You can go all the way to the end, but if you have a quick caution right with 20 laps to go, feel certain everyone will come down and get that last set of tires.
Off pit road, Brody Hanna wins the race over Dale Nearad, Chris, and we've seen it all night long. The 8 team, very slow pit stops. Some of the slowest we've seen all season, or in the playoffs so far. I mean, he has just not had a good time on pit road. Lost 2 positions.
And Jared, that's all about the driver in the iRacing world as far as that's concerned, about how you get on and off of pit road. One thing to note, the drivers can pretty much make that pit stop as quickly as possible by just getting into their pit stall the proper exact place every single time. And it seems like Bernard Persson not able to get it done as he drops 2 positions here. He'll be looking to get that up on the restart, but Brody Hanna getting it done in the pits. So is Dale Nearad, so is Bobby Terrells. They're able to pass the 8 machine. But really, that's all about driver error. And even though it isn't a penalty, it's still error.
Yeah, and you look at the rest of them. Zach McDaniel moves into the top 5. Bill Benedict to 6th. TJ Bartel to 7th. Ralph Nolan 8th. Williford up to 9th. Figueroa to 10th. And you look at some of these drivers back here. Richie Coy must have had some damage, Chris. Look at his pit time. 37.5 seconds. He's going to drop out toward the back. So is Brian Helms. So that's where some of that change up in positions came from. Both those drivers, extraordinarily long time in pits.
Helms definitely had a little bit of damage that he wanted to correct. And looking at his car, definitely got it a little bit nicer on that left side. Richie Coy, who caught the outside wall, got the right side of that machine fixed as well. Not looking quite so new, but still a lot better than it was.
All right, Chris, we got 50 laps or so to go here. We know they have at least one set in tires. Now, you see that 20 car out in front of Brody Hanna. He is likely going to take the wave round. We saw Adam Newton with some damage and smoking earlier in the race, and he is either going to pit or he's going to try to get one of his laps back. So it looks like he's going to try to get one of his laps back, gain some positions here. But you look at the rest of this race, how it's transpired. We haven't had a green flag run. We've seen some big moves. Where is the intensity level at right now in this race?
Well, if you had asked the drivers up front, it was at 10 for the last 15 laps of that green flag run. Now it's probably calmed down a little bit. The green flag hasn't quite flown yet, but I expect that it won't take long before we're back up there to a 10. But these drivers, the ones that have been up here and persevered that are not in the playoffs, they're probably thinking it's a pretty relaxed night. McDaniel's in that number 42 machine, Bartel, Sherwood Williford, and Mark Figueroa, they are up here. They don't have to be as aggressive. They're just out here to have fun at this point in the season. And that's really what matters for those guys. So they really kind of have an advantage here because they're not going to be as stressed out as some of the other guys.
Exactly right. Half the top 10, Chris named them off, half the top 10 not playoff drivers. The top 4 plus Ralph Nolan in 8th place, all playoff drivers. Everybody else not in the playoffs, so they have they're just going out here for wins and can play a big spoiler as this season goes on. Las Vegas, next week is Talladega. So chase driver, if a playoff driver doesn't win tonight, boy oh boy, next week and even the Roval are going to be extremely intense because it is going to be make or break for a lot of drivers. Pace car rolling off. Here we go, starting lap number 77 here at Las Vegas. Brody Hanna will lead him down, Nearad on the outside. Flagman holds it, and we are back to green flag racing here at Las Vegas. Good restart by Brody Hanna. Nearad spins the tires on the outside a little bit.
Spins the tires, but he has a little bit of help from Bernard Persson now on the outside there as those two hook up together. But it looks like Bernard Persson has to get off the bumper. That's going to give Brody Hanna a commanding lead with Bobby Terrell right behind him.
Moving out through the outside, the sun almost gone here at Vegas. 80 laps going into the books here. Brody Hanna to the lead. Bobby Terrell to second place.
To second place, but he's gotten down Nearad on his outside as Nearad gets a little bit of momentum coming out of the corner, pulling alongside him. Now it's a battle for second behind your leader. Brody Hanna looks to go to the outside, then the inside. He's kind of loving these two drivers side by side in his rearview mirror.
What a job by Brody Hanna, but Bobby Terrell looking on the inside. He can't quite get the run right now. Side by side down the back straight. Nearad to the lead.
Nearad making an aggressive move to go underneath the 23 machine, able to make it work, make it sick, coming out of the corner, looking for the lead coming out of the straightaway here. But no, Hanna still retains the lead. Nice aggressive side draft there by Nearad. Interesting to note, his teammate got stuck on the outside there, not able to give him the help that he needs to get around Brody Hanna. Now Brody Hanna going to get a push from the 8 to take the lead back.
Dale Nearad with a super aggressive move. What a move it was. He moved up underneath Brody Hanna. Hanna perseveres. Now all of a sudden Bernard Person's up to second place. Watch out for Zach McDaniel. 3 Toyotas lined up. Bobby Terrell dropping from second to 5th place.
All because of momentum shifting from the outside lane to the inside lane, leaves Terrell there struggling. Now he's going to get around Zach McDaniel, as McDaniel doesn't have the help on the outside lane.
Side by side down the back straightaway, Chris. You said the intensity level was at a 10, and you said it's even higher than that now. What's it at now, by chance?
I don't think we got a number scale that we can put this one on, Jared, as these drivers are all looking to get up here and get a piece of the action. Right now, the top 3 kind of breaking away as Bernard Person seems to get a little loose going into the corner. He's going to look underneath Hanna with his teammate right behind him.
3 wide behind him. Bill Benedict in the sandwich back there, but we're staying with the lead. They get sorted out back deeper. Brody Hanna by himself on the outside. The Speer Motorsport drivers, as the lights flicker on here at Vegas, go to the lead.
Bernard Person getting a great push from his teammate to take the lead. Now he looks to go to the outside. That's not going to help Nearad. That's going to keep Brody Hanna in it for second. Nearad looking and hoping that Bernard Person will go to the low lane here to give him a little bit of momentum through the corner to get around Hanna.
Nearad tucked right up underneath the back bumper of the 8 machine, gets detached a little bit. That's going to bring Bobby Terrell back to the fray. He's got his teammate for the first time tonight, TJ Bartell, in the 88 machine, up in this race as well.
And looking up front, Brody Hanna is trying to do everything he can to get around Bernard Person. Bernard Person must have heard what we talked about in the booth, now giving Nearad a hand, pulling Nearad up into second.
Kenneth Schultz on pit road with engine failure. And Brody Hanna loose on the outside line.
Lost a lot of momentum there. Looking up, now going to lose 4th position to the TJ Bartell. Zach McDaniel right in his footstep as all of these drivers looking to take advantage of Brody Hanna's mishap.
Only driver out there is Figueroa and Bill Benedict for Brody Hanna. Zach McDaniel side by side. He's got Sher Williford tucked up behind him. Where did Dean Doucette come from? He's back in the top 10.
Laid back as much as he could. His impatience got the better of him. Now he's up here fighting in this top group. But up front, it is still Bernard Person and Dale Nearad, with now Bobby Terrell under pressure by TJ Bartell. Is Bartell now up into the 4th position?
Where did he come from? He was the winner back at Nashville. Tried to play playoff spoiler, just didn't have enough races to get it done. He can win on these 1.5 mile tracks. TJ Bartell to 4th place.
To 4th place, and he's got a good run coming on Bobby Terrell. Terrell going to block it going to the low side. These drivers, Jared, they're all running the same line, as Terrell's going to get a little bit loose or tight coming out of the corner. TJ Bartell going to have a good run coming out of the corner now. Going to stay behind him going into 3.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he wants to pass his teammate. Wants to help him out as much as he can. But Bobby Terrell run a little bit different line. That makes things a little bit complicated. Terrell's right there on the back bumper. Brody Hanna fighting back on the outside of Zach McDaniel. We got battling all over. 88 laps in the book, 134 total.
These drivers know they're getting closer and closer to that finish line. You can see it behind them. Sherwood Williford there battling, trying to get up to Brody Hanna and to the back of Zach McDaniel in the 42. This driver is really battling hard for 5th.
We have 22 drivers all in this pack. Mike Watts and Kevin Rupert back there in 22nd, 21st position. They're at the tail end of this pack. But that is our main group. Then we have some breakaway drivers at the back. Solari, Held, Loomis, McMullen, and Johnson with damage that are off the pace but on the lead lap are back there as well. So it's a 22-car lead group here tonight. And boy, oh boy, it is getting more and more intense as the laps count down, as we are down to 45 laps to go at the line.
Brody Hanna able to make that outside line work as he's going to get alongside TJ Bartell in the 88 machine. Jared, we talked about this track changing here tonight, making it all that much more faster. You mentioned it just a few laps ago that the lights were flickering on here. Now it seems like a lot of drivers, their cars coming alive as we get into that night shift.
Up ahead, we do have Adam Newton, one of the Speer Motorsports drivers. He is down power and off pace. They will catch him here in the next few laps. Never mind, he pulls down the apron. Great classy move by Adam Newton. Does not want to play any factor of this race. TJ Bartel, Zach McDaniel, side by side coming through 3 and 4, and they are both sideways.
Both sideways, but now Brody Hanna has got his way back up into the 4th position, looking to get around Bobby Terrell, looking to run that middle line. As Terrell's running the outside line, he's going to get a good run on Dale Nearad.
Terrell with a big power move off turn 2. He is side by side with Dale Nero. We have not seen the inside line work through 3 and 4. Brody Hanna is going to go down and try to push Bobby Terrell past Dale Nearad. Side by side coming off turn 4.
No, Hanna going to stay to the outside there, pushing Nearad. Interesting choice there. You would think you'd want to break up the two Speer Motorsports drivers, but no, he stays on the outside. He's going to take third the hard way with Zach McDaniel in tow.
Zach McDaniel moves to the high side. Bobby Terrell, he needs TJ Bartel behind him, but TJ Bartel got cycled out by Williford. And now Brody Hanna to the outside. Zach McDaniel to the high side.
Hanna going to have to do it without the help from Zach McDaniel. Looking strong on that outside, though. Easily had him at the line, but that doesn't matter. Second is not where he wants to be. He wants to get back up there to Bernard Person in that 8 machine, and to do it, he's looking for some help from Zach McDaniel.
Looking out the back of the 8 machine, Chris, it looks like we're pacing. That's how 2 by 2 by 2 it is, all the way back to 22nd position. What in the heck do you do when it's so stacked up like this? Nearad Titan 3 and 4.
Jared, if I didn't know any better, I'd say we're at Talladega this week instead of next. Now Bobby Terrell,
wrecking. Bill Benedict. Bill Benedict involved, heavy contact. That 90 machine might have gotten the catch fence, and that front end is completely missing on that machine. Jason Speer involved. Matt Geringer might have gotten a piece of it as well. Let's take a look and see what happened to the 90. He was running in 6th place at the time, Chris. So here we go. Looking from our drone cam, he is underneath Jason Speer here. Gets right down to the apron. So far, so good. Oh, and he just, I'm not sure. Just came up the track, and he got swung into the safer barrier. A little bit of a glitch wreck and significant damage to the 90 machine.
Yeah, from my vantage point, it looked like Speer got loose coming out of the corner, and when he did, he had to drive that car a little bit low out of the corner there. And at the same time, Bill Benedict was having to come up, and just a heartbreak for both of those drivers.
Ooh, and we'll take a look from Dean Doucette's view, because he had a massive look at this wreck right in front of him. Didn't want to be involved in another wreck tonight, which would really hurt his playoff chances. So let's take another look at this wreck from the vantage point of the 29 machine. So you see there, Jason Speer, I mean, it's 2 by 2. Nowhere you can go here. Jason Speer is a little bit loose, not too bad. Right here, moves up the track, and it gets just a little bit loose. And Bill Benedict came up. It's kind of, both drivers kind of came together there, and Dean Doucette, very lucky not to get involved there.
Yeah, definitely. Dean Doucette there had a scary moment. But now, an interesting play call up front. Mark Figueroa and Dean Doucette, Ralph Nolan, all stayed out on track here.
So Mark Figueroa, one of our drivers, not in the playoffs. Dean Doucette in the playoffs. Ralph Nolan Jr. in the playoffs. All electing to stay out, Chris. We have, 40 to go here? What is the thinking here? They do have one set in the pits. Are they just trying to get off sequence and maybe have that set to go, and they think there's going to be more cautions in this race?
Absolutely. These drivers are looking at the trends. It looks like we've had a caution here almost every 20 laps, so that would give us another caution around lap 120, which would make it where these drivers just have basically a 15-lap shootout. If they can save that set of tires and not fall too off, these drivers are going to be hard to beat in that last caution if we get it.
So Figueroa, Dean Doucette, and Ralph Nolan. I love the play. Dean Doucette, worked with him a lot on Full Throttle TV. We'll be on the booth tomorrow night, not to have a plug or anything right now, but if you want to listen to us, we'd be greatly appreciated on tomorrow night is Kicking Asphalt Racing League. They're going to start their playoffs tomorrow night, their first round. But Dean Doucette, we talk about all the time, we cover races, Chris. If you do what the leader's doing, you're going to get what the leader has. So you got to sometimes do something different. Is this a good call to do this with this little laps to go?
It's a good call as long as you are banking on that caution. If you don't imagine that you're going to get that good caution at the end, then no. Terrible move. Should have never done it. But if you don't try, you'll never know. Dean Doucette had to work his way back up here into second position after having an incident earlier tonight. So this is a good play for him. I mean, he's getting up here, potentially able to lead a lap if he can get around Figueroa here, get that bonus point, hope for that caution, and easily be able to weave his way through the field. Going to be hard to do so with just a few laps here. It'd be interesting to see how this restart is handled if these two spin their tires, because they're going to have fresh tires right there in row 2 with Bernard Person on the outside.
Well, Chris, we don't know, but only 20 lap difference of tires. From what we understand, all the drivers that pitted, and I'm also wondering, Chris, looking at our pit count, I wonder if Dean Doucette is out of tires. He has indicated that he's come down pit road 4 times. So he may be out of tires, and that might be part of the problem as well.
That's true. He did get caught up in that early accident, or not really an accident, but got really wicked loose. So that could be potentially part of the problem, as he had to come down and fix damage. He may have accidentally used that last set of tires already.
Rachel Hunt, another driver, out of tires for sure. She had a 7-second pit stop. Did net her quite a bit of positions, but she's going to be right in the thick of things on some old tires. Gas only stop for the 16 machine. So we got a lot of different things going on, Chris. And I think there's going to be a lot of anxiety around some playoff drivers right here, because you got a lot of mixture of strategies, a lot of drivers out of place. Man, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen when this green flag comes back out.
Yeah, Jared, I'm very glad to be up in the booth as this race is about to get heated with these older tires up front.
Rolling the dice at Vegas. Mark Figueroa staying out on 20-lap old tires, bringing Dean Doucette and Ralph Nolan Jr. with him. Bernard Person and Brody Hanna will line up behind him. Person with the advantage, only one driver in front of him. Hanna has to get around 2. Pace car is off, and we're going to restart the race. 97 in the books, 37 to go. Green flag back out here at Vegas, and a great start by Figueroa on the inside. Doucette might spin the tires a little bit.
Just a little bit on that outside lane, but now it looks like Mark Figueroa is going to be under attack immediately by Ralph Nolan Jr. Ralph Nolan Jr. is looking to take the lead. He wants to get up here and get a bonus point.
Ralph Nolan Jr. to the lead. Brody Hanna goes to the apron almost. Nolan moves to the high side. Hanna's going to the lead.
Hanna trying to spoil that bonus point for Ralph Nolan. Easily going to do so. Now Bernard Person, 3 wide in the middle.
3 wide contact. They're almost 4 wide. Bobby Terrell backs out of it. Still 3 wide, folks. Down the tri-oval. Figueroa trying to hang on the outside, and they are still 3 wide. Figueroa way up the track. Dean Doucette up the track.
And this is all playing into the hands of Brody Hanna as he is just pulling away, as they're still 3 wide behind him.
Zach McDaniel 3 wide with Bobby Terrell. Nolan moves up out of the way. He doesn't want any part of it. Finds a gap, gets down the track. Now Zach McDaniel, the Truck Series driver that's nearly won a championship over there, making a move to the front, and he is battling with Bernard Person for the second place.
He is. He's battling hard for that second position. He's getting really tight in the middle of the corner and off of exit, sending that car up. Has to get out of it and really creating a roadblock for the 5 there, as now Bernard Person easily gets around him.
Zach McDaniel was pushed loose, Chris. You saw him. He was tight in the middle, then got wicked loose off, as we are now 100 laps in the book. What is going to happen with this race as we are down to 35 to go?
Well, easily the lead is going to change back and forth here tonight. Now, Brody Hanna is looking to block Bernard Person. Bernard Person looking to the inside. These two, they're not quite done battling for the lead.
Back behind him, 3 wide. McCanny in the sandwich with Wayne Grassi. That's and Ralph Nolan Jr., some playoff drivers. McCanny stuck in the middle, and Ralph Nolan says, I'm out. So Ralph Nolan getting out of there real quick. Doesn't want any part of three-wide racing here at Vegas. Back up front, Bernard Persson takes the lead right as that was going on.
Takes the lead, and now Dale Nearad all over the bumper of Brody Hanna, as now Hanna seems to be struggling a little bit on the short run. That car just not coming alive quite yet, Jared.
And Chris, I think you'd be remiss to say, but these three drivers in the top three, they've been the best three drivers all night long.
All night long, they've been up here. Don't believe that Dale Nearad's gotten him a lap lead. He got really close, I believe. But these two up front, the 8 and the 23, they've battled for the lead numerous times here tonight, looking to do it for the rest of these 30 laps.
And Chris, I just hope this race does not end in tears, but the racing has been off the charts tonight, been exciting up here in the booth. Not sure I'd want to be down there on the track, but the top three doing a good job. Back behind him, Bobby Terrell has cleared Zach McDaniel, and Zach McDaniel has cleared TJ Bartel. So the top five have broken away. Bartel holds off Richie Coy, so move him to 6th place. Then it's Coy, Lane Allen, Wayne Grossi, who we haven't talked a lot about tonight, a playoff driver, finally in the top 10 for the first time tonight, Chris. What a time to get there as the race goes down to the end.
Absolutely, Jared. Having a quiet night, but sometimes quiet can mean safe, and that's what Wayne Grossi and that 7 machine has been looking to do here tonight, as he's easily been quiet, but at least making the most out of his race, up 15 spots from his starting position.
Then you got Williford and McCanny. Figueroa, the driver that stayed out and led a lap there, he is dropped to 13th. Dean Doucette to 15th, and Ralph Nolan Jr. to 17th. Kind of where they were running before, but now they're going to have that extra set maybe in the box.
That's actually a loss of positions for Dean Doucette. He had just broken into the top 10 right before that caution, so that's going to hurt him significantly. Hopefully, he has a set of tires in the bank and will be able to get them if we get a caution here. Otherwise, he's in for a very rough finish here tonight.
So we have 5 cars in the front breakaway. Our next breakaway is basically 6th place all the way back to about 11th place. So basically, Richie Coy to Randy McCanny. Then we have a second group, which is Johnson and Figueroa, and then a third gaggle group of Watts, Hunt, Doucette, Solari, Nolan, Gehringer, Helm, and Rupert. So not quite this. Oh, and Bobby. Oh, my goodness. Bernard Persson and Brody Hanna. Nearly heartbreak right there between those two drivers. Very aggressive moves by both of them.
This race is coming down to the closing laps, and that's why you see all the aggressive moves. Brody Hanna now looking to take the lead away from Persson on the outside.
Persson blocked high coming out of turn 2. Hanna went way low, and Brody Hanna with a power move down the front straightaway. He will lead this lap at least.
At least this lap, but now it's going to come down to whether the teammate goes with the teammate. Here, as Bernard Persson looking to have help from Dale Nearad, these two can easily work their way back around Brody Hanna if they work together, and that's what Dale Nearad's doing, is he's going down and pushing the 8 into the lead.
Dale Nearad loose off turn 2. That's going to hurt a little bit of the run. Brody Hanna right there. Contact, possibly. Hanna holds on to it. I couldn't tell if there was contact or not, but it was awfully close to the one. Now there is contact between Hanna and Terrell.
Between the 5 and Brody Hanna will stay green, though, as they keep it going in the right direction. But that, if no caution comes out, is probably going to end those two chances for getting up here to the lead, as they'll have damage now. Zach McDaniel luckily able to get through that, and there's the caution.
What is this yellow for? It's Mark Figueroa. Mark Figueroa has found an incident, and he is by himself. What has happened to the 04, the crash test dummy? So he's by himself, all by himself. I'm wondering if maybe the engine or something let go on this car. Maybe he lost power. So he's going into turn 1. Oh, and that's some kind of failure. Oh, and Rachel Hunt might have got it. Dean Doucette definitely got it. Holy cow. Dean Doucette, night over for the 29, as Mark Figueroa, some kind of technical issue. That car just drifted off the track.
And Rachel Hunt definitely got damage from that. But Dean Doucette, as you mentioned, his night is over. He had to jump to the pits. That car, toast.
Let's watch onboard Dean Doucette. You're going to see way up there at the start-finish line, there is Mark Figueroa, and that car just starts to turn to the left out of nowhere. Just nowhere. And he hits the inside wall and comes up across the track, and Dean Doucette is there. That is one of the worst feelings in the world. If you're Mark Figueroa, when you have a technical issue, it looked like maybe a wheel came unplugged possibly. Something happened. That is definitely not intentional at all. And man, what a tough break for Dean Doucette. Wrong place, wrong time. And that's going to knock him out of the race, no doubt. So we look at pit road, Chris. Nobody coming down pit road, but we do have a few takers. Ralph Nolan Jr. did have a set of tires, so this works out for Nolan. He's got some fresh tires on that machine. Bobby Terrell came down pit road. He got damaged from contact with Brody Hanna. Rachel Hunt with some damage. Brian Helm still trying to get damage fixed from earlier in the race. But Chris, we've seen the 23 and the 5 car have some issues before in this season. That one, I don't think it was definitely not intentional by Brody Hanna, but my goodness, Bobby Terrell has to be seething in that helmet right now.
That he does. Luckily for him, though, he'll be able to regain some of that position or that momentum lost here because of this caution. And also lucky for him, now he's got no worries about a couple of playoff drivers behind him catching up, as those drivers behind him ended up getting caught up in that one. A lot of different drivers in our playoff hunt here just not having the luck that they needed tonight.
And let's break that down. So you guys that are maybe just joining us, you probably don't realize just how much attrition has happened in this race, number one, and how much attrition has involved the playoff drivers. Troy Torreson involved in a lap 17 wreck, could never get that car going forward again, actually ended up blowing his engine a second time, or for the final time. He's going to end up 34th tonight. Not Jason Speer, he is out of the playoffs. Dean Doucette just got caught up in his second accident of the night. He is potentially done in the race. He is 24th right now. Rachel Hunt, been in a couple accidents tonight. She is 22nd. Bobby Terrell was in some close contact with Brody Hanna. He is in 18th. Casey Mullen got damaged. He's in 17th. Ralph Nolan has had a clean race tonight on fresh tires. He's in 16th. Randy McCanny had some contact. He's in 10th. Wayne Grossi's been clean in 9th. Richie Coy with some contact with the wall. He's in 5th. Brody Hanna with some contact, as we talked about with the 5 machine. Only Bernard Person, Dale Nearat, Wayne Grossi, and Ralph Nolan Jr. of our playoff drivers have been clean all night long, Chris.
Whoa. This race isn't over, Jared. We got 22 laps to go. Most likely when they take the green here, 21, this race isn't over. It's still anyone's game. We've seen it happen. Brody Hanna obviously gotten into Bobby Terrell, but now we've got a couple of drivers up here that they're going to be within striking distance. We've seen Zach McDaniel in that 42 car really get up there and be fast on a longer run. Now it's going to be a short run. Can he get up there and take the lead away from these two teammates? Them being side by side on this restart, not an advantage here at this track.
Chris, I talked to Zach McDaniel. I raced with him in our trucks, the Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series on Wednesday nights, and he has had a disappointing year. He got caught up in some accidents in the first round of playoffs. Hasn't won a race this year in trucks. He won 4 last year across the split seasons that FTSR used to do. What a night he could have tonight if he can grab his first career Cup Series win. Might be kind of that cherry on top for his season, kind of might make the season worthwhile for him as he is eliminated from the Truck Series playoffs. And he is running 3rd position here tonight. Hasn't led any laps yet, so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but that 42 car looking very strong. I also want to point out Wayne Grossi. He has had a super quiet night, and he was running back at average running position, Chris, according to our data, 18th position. He is in 6th place right now.
And all that is good and well, but with this race going the way it has, Jared, we may not be done with cautions quite yet. Now we're going to have a little bit of mix of old versus new tires as we look through our field here. A couple guys that were able to pit and get tires, Ralph Nolan, Brian Helm, Kevin Rupert, and Casey McMullen back there in 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th area. They're going to be able to be a little bit quicker here, I believe. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to take advantage of those tires as we're about to go green. Bernard Person leads them to the green flag. Green flag back out. Good restart by the 8 team and with Zach McDaniel behind him. Not so good for the 03 in the second outside lane there with Brody Hanna behind him.
Brody Hanna gave Dale Nearad a shot in the front, trying to get him to go, but he is still not going. Zach McDaniel is going to move up into second place. He's going to cover off Dale Nearad coming off turn number 2. What a move by the 42 machine. Definitely getting some airtime on that machine. He's going for the lead in turn 3.
Going for the lead, already up 18 positions on the night, but now not satisfied, not going to be able to get to the second. Richie Coy up here now trying to take second away. Where did he come from?
Richie Coy, we saw him hit the wall earlier in the race. Had to get that damage fixed. Must have got it all fixed. Hit 19 machine is moving forward side by side with McDaniel. Don't forget, Richie Coy has not won since April at Martinsville. So he is thirsty for a win to lock himself into the next round. But these drivers battling is just letting Bernard Person slip away.
Back in the back of our pack, the 95, the 3, and the 11 all are 3 wide coming out of the corner. Now Mike Watts is going to back out of it to the 95 of Ralph Nolan Jr. Ralph Nolan Jr. on those fresh tires, Jared, making his way up now into 11th.
Boy, he could be the sleeper of the night if he's able to get through some of this traffic. And right in front of Randy McCanny, very loose, had to get out of the throttle, and Ralph Nolan's going to move right by him. He could be the driver to watch for us. He's moved up to 10th place. Up front, Richie Coy all over the back of Bernard Person. And Chris, I have to think that contact between Brody Hanna and Bobby Terrell has hurt that 23 machine. Just doesn't look racy anymore.
No, it doesn't, as he's got Wayne Grossi all over his back bumper trying to help him stay in front of Sherwood Williford. Up in third position, Zach McDaniel getting way tight off the corner. Dale Nearad looking to the inside to take away third.
Whoa, hard block. Brody Hanna throws a hard block on Wayne Grossi. Blocks him down to the apron. Holy cow, he does not want to give up that spot right now.
You'd think these guys were playoff racing or something.
Wayne Grossi lets out of that one. Right behind them, Ralph Nolan Jr. on those fresh tires. Casey Mullen making a move through the pack as well. He had some damage earlier. He's been running around, languishing back in the 20s all night long, but he stayed clean since that wreck, got that car fixed, and on fresh tires. He could be somebody to watch as well. Makes a big move underneath Rupert, coming down the back straightaway.
Looking to get underneath Rupert. He's going to be able to easily slide that car up there, almost take it 3 wide, just able to make that aggressive move with those fresher tires.
Johnson has to make a move underneath Rupert. Rupert got tight off the corner, and McMullen will move him up to 14th position. What a recovery for the 71 machine. Back up front, it is Bernard Person, but he's got a window full of Richie Coy, Zach McDaniel, Dale Nearad losing some time, Chris. He has dropped to 4th place. He has just not got the speed either.
He actually was battling for the 3rd position with Zach McDaniel, but that inside lane just not working for him. Now Nearad going to have to get in front of Sherwood Williford there. Williford just had an amazing comeback from the first caution of the race.
Williford up 11 spots. He has been was spun earlier in the race. I think the second caution, I think Bill Benedict might have gotten the back of him. Could be wrong there, but definitely got spun into the grass, and he is working his way to 4th place underneath Dale Nearad.
Getting a little bit of tight going through that corner there, drifts up. Nearad gets out of it to see that he can make it to the finish here, but now Randy McCanny in the 27 underneath him.
Where did Randy McCanny come from? The 27 machine moving back to the front as the sun has set completely in the 27, looking good, very good right now as he's looking under Williford, and they are going to blow by Dale Nearad. Also, where did Rachel Hunt come from? Oh, I apologize. She is actually getting lapped, so she is in 23rd and has just gotten lapped, so apologies about that.
Out here just trying to get whatever position she's able to do so. Not able to be in contention for the win here. That's going to make next week that much harder for that playoff driver. Now Zach McDaniel's gathered it back up. He's all on the back of Richie Coy.
Richie Coy trying to do something here. Bernard Person not able to sneak away from this group so far, Chris. I'm a little bit surprised, but at the same time, not really. I mean, this has been such a draft-heavy race, and Bernard Person has dominated it, and it would be a shame to see him not win it. But, boy, there are several thirsty drivers behind him, several drivers trying to punch their ticket. Try not to worry about Talladega. Try not to worry about the Roval. They don't want to have to worry about those races, and now Bernard Person under intense heat.
That he is, Jared, but looking back through your pack, now Brian Helm has made his way up into 6th position. He's the first car, I believe, on fresh tires. Fresh tires is coming, and with 12 laps to go, he may be able to get up there and contend for the win.
Brian Helm pitted on 110 fresh tires. in 6th place, Ralph Nolan Jr. Well up to the high side. He's going to make it 3 wide. They both, Casey Mullen and Ralph Nolan Jr., going around down near Nearide, dropping like a rock right now. Don't know if he has damage on that machine. I don't believe so. But he has not got the speed right now. Those two drivers on fresh tires as well, as McMullen is able to clear. Ralph Nolan gets stuck behind.
Sherwood Williford looked to the inside of Zach McDaniel. Wasn't able to make it stick. Now he's got Brian Helm underneath him for 4th.
Brian Helm to 4th. McDaniel trying to look for 2nd.
McDaniel trying to get the run on the inside line there. He's going to easily have it as now Richie Coy has lost that position. Zach McDaniel to 2nd, right behind Bernard Person, who's loving these drivers racing side by side, giving him the opportunity to get a little bit of a breakaway. Brian Helm looks to make it 3 wide.
Brian Helm loose. Casey Mullen goes through the outside, and they are all gaggled up behind Bernard Person. Helm gets tight underneath Casey McMullen. Where did the 71 driver come from? He was way back there. Ralph Nolan's back up here.
These drivers with the fresh tires, they are coming. They're coming quick. Casey McMullen making it work on the outside. Brian Helm trapped there behind McDaniel with those older tires. Brian Helm looking to go every which way he possibly can to get around the 42. He's going to try to dive to the inside, outside. Doesn't know where to go. Trying to push Zach McDaniel around Casey McMullen.
McMullen trying to do everything he can with the fresh tires. He could be the sleeper right now. We do have Adam Newton off pace in front of the pack. 3 wide for 2nd.
3 wide for 2nd's good and well, but you're going to have to get in line as you get around Newton. Newton goes all the way to the apron to stay out of the race, out of the way for these drivers. Still a heavy battle for 3rd.
McDaniel trying to fend off Casey Mullen for a podium finish here tonight. He is doing everything he can, but the fresh tires looking like they're going to prevail, but he's still doing a good job. Ralph Nolan in there, Sure Williford in there, McCanny, and then we got Kevin Rupert. Where did he come from? Up to 9th place.
And Brian Helm's doing everything he possibly can, but he kind of feels trapped. Right now, his best move would be to go to the outside to get around Zach McDaniel, trying to push Casey McMullen up and around that 3rd place driver. But now there's a battle heating up for the lead.
Richie Coy has been working that outside line for a while, and he has made some inroads to Bernard Person. Who is going to punch their ticket? Who is going to make a move? Who is going to gamble? Who is going to do something to make their way into the next round of the playoffs and not have to worry about Talladega or the Roval? 6 laps to go at Vegas.
6 laps to go in the first 4 drivers here. Now playoff contenders. These drivers really doing everything they possibly can to get up here and battle for the win. With 6 laps to go, Casey McMullen all over the back of Richie Coy.
Casey Mullen, Brian Helm, they have not won yet this year. Brian Helm has not won a cup race in his career. Both drivers on fresh tires. 6 laps to go, coming to 5 to go. What can these drivers on fresh tires do here as this race comes down to its conclusion? Casey Mullen to the apron.
The best thing these drivers can do is work with each other to get around both of these drivers in front of them and to be able to battle for the lead. Now, it looks like we're going to have a battle for the lead anyway as Richie Coy goes to the outside. He's going to have the run coming off the corner here. Still not able to do it. Casey McMullen got real loose there. Brian Helm now diving to the inside to take 3rd away.
Helm to the inside of the 71. McDaniel will help him through as well, and it looks like Helm is going to clear Casey Mullen. What a move by Brian Helm as he goes to 3rd.
Goes to 3rd. Now he's got Richie Coy in his sights as he's going to look to do whatever he can to get around the 19 and the 8 to get his first victory here in the Darkmatter Designs Cup Series. And at a critical time in the playoffs, this driver was on the outside looking in for most part of the last couple of races as he was always seemed to find a way to not win the race. Now he has an opportunity up here tonight to get the win and to secure his spot in the round of 8.
Didn't get a good run through 3 and 4, but now we have Zach McDaniel getting pressure from Ralph Nolan Jr. also on fresh tires. So the fresh tires are here, but Chris, they've stalled out behind the leaders. They haven't been able to do anything once they caught Richie Coy and Bernard Person.
They've been too busy battling each other. If they would get in line, they would definitely have the momentum on these 2 drivers in front of them, but not able to do so. Brian Helm all over Richie Coy, though, going into 3.
Trying to work the high side. Brian Helm is trying to work that high side, Chris, and he just can't seem to do it. But the flagman, 2 fingers in the air. We got 2 laps more around Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
2 laps to go. Brian Helm in 3rd position with the fresher tires. Seems to be able to get a good run coming out of 2, but not able to get the run out of 3 and 4 that he needs to get up here and battle for the win. looking now as Casey McMullen, the 71, are going to be there as well. These drivers, they really are about to run out of time here. Bernard Person looking to lock himself into the round of 8 instead.
Green, white flag in the air. Final time around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next flag will end it. Checker or yellow.
Zach McDaniel spun around behind them.
Stay green. Zach McDaniel is going to drop off the pace. That's going to leave us with the top 5. Bernard Person trying to block off Richie Coy. Coy throws it in deep. Brian Helm a little bit deeper, coming off turn number 4. Bernard Person holding on to it. Here comes Richie Coy trying to make a move. He's not going to get there. Bernard Person punches his ticket to the round of 8 with a resounding, dominating win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as he holds off Richie Coy in the number 19 machine. And what a win for Bernard Person, Chris. Brian Helm comes home 3rd, followed by McMullen, Williford, Rupert, Ralph Nolan Jr., Dale Nearad drops to 8th, followed by Josh Johnson recovering to 9th, and Randy McCanny will grab a top 10th place here tonight.
What an incredible race at the end. The fresh tires had the momentum, but got too caught up in battling each other to be able to get up for the win. And that's really what it came down to, as Brian Helm, Casey McMullen, and Williford were not able to work with one another to get around Person and Coy. Those two drivers really were hard to get around here. Bernard Person harder than anyone to get around. The only person that seemed to be able to do it all night was Brody Hanna, who was not able to even finish in the top 10.
Watching the replay here, it looks like Zach McDaniel. Let's take a look at that first. And looks like maybe Ralph Nolan came up the track and just clipped him. I don't want to call that way. That was a very bad angle, but definitely some contact between the 42 and the 95. Very disappointing race. As Bernard Person burns it down. What a night for Bernard Person, Chris. He dominated this thing and really he earned the win.
That he did. I mean, he did it in a hard fashion here, as he was able to really just make that car work in the fresh air there and get around all of the drivers tonight and really do a great job of blocking Richie Coy, who at times had the momentum and was to his outside, but just was not able to bring it home.
And it looks like some tough contact there. Zach McDaniel does a nice job, did clip the inside wall, but unfortunately is going to lose a ton of time here at the end of the race. And what a race it was for Bernard Person. But Zach McDaniel, you have to feel a little heartbroken for the 42 driver, as he was not able to continue in this race. And not get the finish, I should say, that he deserved in this race. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to hear from our top 3 competitors as Bernard Person punches his way to the round of 8. We are back live here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway where Bernard Persson has clinched his ticket to the round of 8, Chris, and what a race it was.
That it was. Bernard Persson had a great car all night here. Really had to do everything he can. Started from the pole, finished with a win. That's how you show dominance here, leading 96 laps en route to the victory here tonight.
Let's take a look at how the points stack up. Richie Coy will be your points lead, or second in place in points. Bernard Persson will be in yellow coming into next week. He will be automatically advanced heading into the round of 8, which will start in 3 weeks at Kansas Speedway. Richie Coy, the points leader, you should say, out of the best of the rest. Dale Nearad in 3rd, Casey Mullen 4th, Helm 5th, and you look at the bottom 4. Dean Doucette, tough night for him. Rachel Hunt, tough night for her. Troy Torkson, tough night. Brody Hanna may have had some damage late in that race, and he is going to end up on the outside of the cut line, 4 points behind Wayne Grossi.
Definitely a close battle there at the cut line. Coming into this race, Brian Helm was in 12th, now up to, I believe you said, 5th position. It doesn't seem like a lot, Jared, but that's a hard-fought night for any of these playoff drivers.
It sure is. Well, let's not waste any more time and let's get into those interviews and bring in 3rd place finisher Mr. Brian Helm. Let's bring in the driver of the number 26 machine, Brian Helm. Brian, what a crazy race. You're up there, you dropped to the back, but you ended up coming home 3rd place and helping solidify your playoff run in the round of 12.
Yeah, I know I was on the bottom there and had to, I'm kind of in go for it mode, and I accidentally had my tires unchecked on one stop there, and I ended up not getting tires at the same time Dean and them guys didn't. Was just praying for a yellow and got it. So I don't really know what to say after that.
Well, you had we looked at your race. You're kind of up front. You look like you and the Speer guys. We saw Dale Nearad up front. Bernie obviously won the race. You guys look to be very, very good out here at Vegas tonight. Looked like you might have had a little contact. I don't remember the driver you got into, or got into you maybe. Had some damage on the left side. How much did that affect that car?
Well, it was kind of like a parachute after that. I just faded. And so I decided to finally fix it. And that's what got me all the way back there. And then, like I said, I was doing okay trying to come through. It was really tough to pass. And I kind of messed up not taking tires on that one stop. And then it just really actually turned out to really help me big, because having new tires on that last run, although I'm pretty sure there were some hair-raising moves there for me.
Yeah, it was very intense racing, to say the least, at the end of the race there. But that's kind of what you expect with playoffs going into these kind of races, I would assume, Brian. But you went to the back. You came back to the front. You had those fresh tires at the end. You and Casey Mullen, Ralph Nolan Jr., and Kevin Rupert actually all had fresh tires at the end. But it looked like you guys made it through the field. But then once you got to Richie Coy and Bernard Persson, you just could not get any further. What was going on there? Was the damage from earlier maybe affecting you guys, or just didn't have it at the end?
Well, I feel like I used up a lot of tires, getting to the front, and Richie was kind of committed to Bernie. I was kind of hoping he'd take a shot at it or something that'd give me an opportunity to kind of wiggle my way by somehow. But I think he was in the mindset that kind of like I was by the time I got there, that, hey, 3rd's a pretty good spot here. If I have to risk it and, risk taking people out or risk getting caught on the bottom, I just said, well, I'm not going to force it. I looked for a couple opportunities there, but it just, with them two drafting each other, it just wasn't there.
So coming out of this race, unofficially 5th in points. Your teammate Bernard Persson pushed his way to the round of 8, so he's going to be there. You're only 10 points unofficially above the cut line going into Talladega. Does that make you more relaxed going in, or are you still amped up knowing that Talladega is such a wild card race? Then you have the Roval afterwards.
Well, Talladega's a crapshoot, so you really don't control your own destiny much there. You just hope and pray that you don't get caught in a big one. And the Roval, is a road course, and I'm okay-ish at road courses, so that extra 10 points might give me a little bit of cushion, but it ain't much. It's only 10 spots.
Well, Brian, congratulations. What a run through the field. We enjoyed watching you tonight. As always, what a race you had. I'm going to let you have the last word on your race and turn the mic over to you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the guys at Dark Matters, for sponsoring the deal. You and Chris, for, broadcasting. It's a great thing to go back and watch later. You can learn from it. I got to thank the boys at Spears, and I also need to put a special shout out to Jesse Schwartz because he was helping me with my driving style here on this track, and I think it helped a ton. So, but anyways, also thank the series and all the admins.
All right, Chris, that was our third place finisher, Mr. Brian Helm, and I believe you have caught up with our second place finisher, the driver of the number 19, Richie Coy.
That I have Richie Coy in that Jeremy Mayfield throwback Mobile One paint scheme. Richie, take us through your race here and what you were thinking there at the end.
Don't wreck. That's what I was thinking. Oh my goodness, what a race! I was trying to get to the outside of Bernie because I knew if I got to the inside of him and didn't make it, that the guys behind me with three guys behind with fresh tires would have ate me up. So I was trying to get to the outside and not make a mistake.
Richie, talking to Brian in his interview, he said that it looked like once you got to where you were behind Bernard Person and realized you weren't able to pass him, you decided to stay hooked up with him. He thought that maybe you might try to make a move and he was going to push you around for the win, but instead you decided to stay in line there with Bernard Person. Thinking back on it now and knowing that Brian Helm might have helped you get around Bernard, would you have tried it?
I probably should have, but we're points racing, and I needed a good night tonight. And we didn't lock into the next round, but I think we're leading the points now, or second in points. So we got a good jump for Talladega, and you shoulda, coulda, woulda. I had a couple runs where I kind of got under Bernie going into one of the corners, and I didn't feel it. I didn't think it was going to be a good run.
Well, you mentioned it next week going to Talladega. It's a little bit of a wild card for everyone on track, and you're out here playoff point racing tonight. Going into Talladega, pretty much unless something traumatic happens, it looks like you'll lock yourself into the 8 just because of how many points you've earned throughout this season so far. But knowing that, do you treat Talladega any different?
Talladega is a crapshoot in general. Our strategy, we've tried it where we've tried to run up front. We've tried it where we've tried to run in the back, run in the middle. And it's all a matter of, I think the last plate race that we had, we went green to checkered. Nobody expected that to happen. Everybody was expecting for the big one. So it's a matter of how the race goes. And it's really one of them races that you have to kind of adjust it and figure out what you're doing on the fly.
That it is. Is there anyone you'd like to thank that helps gets this 19 to and from the virtual track each week?
I'd like to thank Mobile One for hopping on the car this week. They came up. That's actually an Eric Amarola paint scheme from Stuart Haas. I really liked it. I appreciate Mobile One coming on. Thanks Stewart's for their support throughout the season. Fury Motorsports, Brody gave us a really good setup tonight. I think actually he was going to have the car to beat tonight, and at one point, I think we were 1-2 and we were joking back and forth on what we were going to do, but I got to thank him for bringing a good setup tonight and the rest of the team. So on to Talladega.
On to Talladega. We'll be watching for this 19 machine there to see what you can do to park this thing up in Victory Lane. As you mentioned, crapshoot. Best of luck next week.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And Jared, I believe you've caught up with tonight's winner, Bernard Person, who led 96 laps of the 134 here, getting it done in dramatic fashion.
Yeah, I've caught up with the race winner, and more importantly, the only driver that has punched his ticket to the round of 8, Mr. Bernard Person. Always a pleasure to talk to you, but Bernie, you had to earn it tonight, didn't you?
Oh my God, what a race. What a race.
So let's start at the beginning. You started on the pole, and you have kind of some wingmen out there. You had Brian Helm there at the beginning of the race. You had Dale Nearad, who really was your wingman all race long. As Chris alluded to, you led almost all but 35 laps tonight. How dominant of a car did you have on that number 8 machine?
Oh, it was set up really, really good. We worked really hard on it during the weekend. I know I didn't get on last night, but I know we had a pretty decent setup for the long run. And, we never really work on qualifying until either the last minute. But I was like, we need to qualify good because of the draft here.
Well, Bernie, the last time I talked to you, it was in Victory Lane back at Road America. That was your first win of the year, first career road course win. Second win of the year. Hasn't maybe been the season you wanted as the defending champion. I think you probably wanted to come in here and dominate the races, show that you were the guy. But you're starting to pick up some momentum. You've had some great finishes over the last 4 weeks. You're locked into the round of 8. What does this 8 team do now? Do you work on Talladega? Do you work on the Roval? Or do you kind of relax in those races knowing that your next focus race is Kansas because that starts the round of 8?
Well, you know how it is with Talladega. You need to work as a team there. And obviously I'm going to work as much as I can with my teammates and see if we can lock one of those guys in the final 8. And with the Roval, I'm okay with road courses. I'm not the best, but I will work on that.
Well, there you go. Well, Bernie, you look at it. The other thing that a lot of people may not know listening to it, you're actually in the championship fight in 2 other FTSR series. Does that help you knowing that you're locked into the Cup Series, allow you to focus on the trucks, focus on the Xfinity at all? Or does it still go all the way out for all 3 series?
Well, as a racer, you want to go out on all 3 series to try to make it all. But, this season, whatever happens, happens. I really haven't had good finishes. Haven't really felt myself these last couple of months. A lot of things going on privately and health-wise. And, whatever happens, happens. I have fun here, and I enjoy racing here.
Well, Bernie, I hate to hear that, and definitely one of my favorite drivers to race against when I have the opportunity to. But Bernie, you're locked in to the next round. That's got to be exciting for you. Talladega, you already said you're going to work with your teammates. Roval, you said you're going to work there. But are you starting to think maybe kind of practice a little bit for Kansas coming up?
Yeah, Kansas is my I'm not that great there. But, yeah, absolutely.
Well, Bernie, as always, what a win you had. Dominic Carr holding up Brody Hanna there for most of the race. I'm going to turn the mic over to you, let you have the last word on the race tonight.
Thank you, Jared. And I like to always thank you guys for putting on a great show. I want to thank Brody for putting together a great team, and him and I had a great battle. I want to throw that out there. I also want to thank my teammates. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am right now in Victory Lane.
All right, Chris, that was our winner tonight, and our only driver clinched into the round of 8, Mr. Bernard Person.
The only driver next week that will be able to have a little bit of a breath of fresh air going into the wild card of Talladega. Jared, tonight's race, we had 15 lead changes with 5 different leaders here. Next week, that number is easily going to be up in the 20s at Talladega here on Full Throttle TV. Darkmatter Designs Cup Series heads to Talladega. Crazy race next week, but a crazy race here tonight with everyone in the playoffs. Seem to have some misfortunes early on. Bernard Person, really the only driver that did not have any kind of issues the entire race.
And you look at Talladega, nobody's safe going into next week. Wanted to bring up look at the results because we'd be remiss to talk about other drivers that were in this race because there was a lot of great racing going on here tonight. And so let's give you a final rundown of your finishing order. Bernard Person with the victory. He wins the race. Got Richie Coy in second position. You look back further, you look at guys like Kevin Rupert up 25 positions. What a race for Kevin Rupert. Wanted to give him a shout out as he started 31st and finished 6th. Ralph Nolan up 23 positions, finishing 7th. Dale Nearad faded at the end, grabbed his 8th place. Josh Johnson started dead last on the field, folks. Finishes 9th. What a run for Josh Johnson, the 0-5. McKendy will grab top 10. Then behind him, you got Geringer, Grossi, Lane Allen. Steve Loomis, shout out to him. He's actually the guy that started dead last. He started 39th. Josh Johnson 38th. So great run for Steve Loomis, grabbing 14th tonight. TJ Bartel faded at the end, finishing 15th. Then we had John Held, Bobby Terrell, Mayu, Hannah, and Mike Watts, your top 20, Chris. Looking further back through there, I mean, what a tough night for Rachel Hunt and Dean Doucette, finishing 23rd and 24th. Torgerson back in 34th, and they're going to have some work to do with Talladega and the Roval on the schedule.
And we'd be remiss to not mention Sherwood Williford brought out that second caution with a spin, ends up bringing the car home 5th here tonight. What an incredible rebound for that 33 machine. But everything changes next week. It's almost anyone's game at Talladega here. And as mentioned by Bernard Person, it can kind of go either way. You can either have an entire green flag race or a caution field one. And with the intensity of these playoffs, I think I'm going to be leaning towards the cautious side if I'm these drivers.
And we've seen these races go green flag, as Richie Coy said, and we've seen him go caution, big wrecks. And we have yet to have a single repeat winner. So if you're Dean Doucette, if you're Sherwood Williford, if you're Jason Speer, if you're Bernard Person, you've won races here, but nobody's been able to win that elusive second win. Dean Doucette, what a time for him if he's able to grab it, because he needs that victory more than ever as he is sitting on the outside looking in. But we're going to have all the action coming up next week as the teams go to Talladega Super Speedway next Monday night. You can catch all the action at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Full Throttle TV. We'll be back in the booth tomorrow night for the Kick and Asphalt Racing League. They're going to start their playoffs off live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss that. And then Blackwater Products, the second race of their second round of playoffs at Talladega as well. Don't want to miss all the action. We'll have it here on Full Throttle TV. But for Chris Speer, for Las Vegas Motor Speedway, for Full Throttle Sim Racing, I'm Jared Carr. We will see you guys out on the track.